Let's talk about this winter. February 2026, a month that feels like it's been plucked straight from a disaster movie. The cold isn't just biting, it's relentless, seeping through every crack in the windows and under every door. For many, it's the kind of chill that makes you question not just your choice of city, but your entire life plan. Why did we settle here, in a place where the air hurts your face and the snow piles up like unpaid bills? And for much of the US, it's so cold you wonder if you're starring in your own personal survival show. The streets are empty, playgrounds abandoned, and even the family dog refuses to go outside. Inside, families huddle together, wrapped in layers, trying to keep spirits up as the temperature drops. But the real shock isn't the frostbite, it's your heating bill, arriving each month like a villain in a crisp envelope. You brace yourself before opening it, hoping for a miracle, but the numbers inside are enough to make you shiver all over again. It's as if the bill itself is taunting you, daring you to turn up the heat just one more degree. This year, millions are staring at utility statements with dread, as staying warm has become a high-stakes financial gamble. Every month, families gather around the kitchen table, calculators in hand, trying to figure out what to cut next: groceries, medicine, or maybe just a few degrees off the thermostat. Families are treating the thermostat like a nuclear launch button. Every degree is a costly rebellion. Adjusting the heat has become a family debate, with everyone weighing in on whether comfort is worth the cost. Some have resorted to setting strict thermostat rules, while others just pile on more blankets and hope for spring. This isn't just a cold snap, it's a perfect storm of relentless weather and skyrocketing utility rates. Blizzards batter neighborhoods and the news is filled with stories of record-breaking lows. Meanwhile, utility meters spin faster than ever, and the cost of staying warm climbs higher with every passing day. Households from the Midwest to the South are forced to choose between warmth and essentials like groceries or medicine. For some, it's a choice between filling the fridge or filling the oil tank. Seniors on fixed incomes and families with young kids are hit the hardest, making impossible decisions just to get through another week. This is a systemic shock, turning a basic necessity into a luxury. The gap between those who can afford to stay warm and those who can't is growing more obvious, with some homes glowing warmly while others sit in the dark, breath visible in the air, wallets empty and hope running thin. It's as if utility companies are run by cartoon supervillains thriving on our financial stress. Protests are popping up outside utility offices, and social media is filled with stories of people pushed to the brink by bills that seem to grow larger with every snowstorm. Tonight, we'll break down why your furnace is suddenly your most expensive possession, how utility companies got the green light to charge more, and what this says about our economy. We'll look at the policies, the market forces, and the failures that led us here and ask what can be done to keep the heat and hope alive. This isn't just a weather story, it's about a system failing with the cost landing right in your mailbox. Each envelope is a reminder that the safety net is full of holes, and that, for many, winter is now a season of anxiety and sacrifice. So grab a blanket, because things are about to get heated, and not in a cheap way. As we dig into the causes and consequences of this winter crisis, remember staying warm shouldn't be a privilege, but for millions it's become the ultimate test of survival. It's not just cold, it's a relentless deep freeze gripping the country, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones, making every step outside feel like a battle. Streets are silent, blanketed in white, and the world seems to slow down under the weight of winter's icy grip. AccuWeather reports heating demand is up to 150% of normal, pushing your furnace into a non-stop marathon. Your heating system is working harder than ever, humming and rattling as it tries to keep up with the plunging temperatures outside. Your heating system is working overtime, like an Amazon worker during Prime Week. You find yourself constantly adjusting the thermostat, hoping for just a little more warmth, but it never seems to be enough. Jonathan Porter from AccuWeather says furnaces are running almost non-stop, and that whirring sound? That's your money evaporating. Every hour your system runs, your utility meter spins faster, and your wallet feels lighter. Over half of Americans are seeing these elevated costs simply because the cold won't quit. Families everywhere are opening their bills with a sense of dread, bracing for numbers higher than they've ever seen before. A single cold day is manageable, but weeks of this? It's brutal on your bank account. The longer the freeze drags on, the more it chips away at your savings, leaving many to make tough choices between comfort and cost. Every hour below, freezing means more energy use, and with higher prices, the bills are catastrophic. For some, it's a question of how to keep the heat on without falling behind on other essentials. This isn't just hitting the usual cold states. The South is feeling it too, unprepared for this kind of freeze. Cities that rarely see snow are now blanketed in ice, and residents are scrambling to adapt to a winter they never expected. People everywhere are cranking up the heat like never before. Neighborhoods glow at night as furnaces roar to life, each home fighting its own battle against the cold. The weather is nature's doing, but the price you pay is all man-made. The storm outside may be out of your control, but the shock of your next bill is a different kind of chill. And those in charge of those prices, they've been very busy, watching the numbers climb, making decisions that ripple through every household. As the cold lingers, so does the question, how much more can we take? Your heating system is working harder, but why is each unit of energy so expensive? In 2025, U.S. utility companies requested a staggering $31 billion in rate hikes, double the previous year. These aren't minor adjustments, they're aggressive hikes pulling billions from ordinary people. The Power Lines report says 81 million Americans are affected, 1 in 4 people. Utilities are regulated monopolies, but in 2025, they convinced regulators they needed more money for storm recovery and infrastructure. Regulators mostly said yes, passing the costs to consumers already struggling. This explosion in rate hikes is the hidden accelerant behind this winter's financial pain. The cold increased demand, but the real killer is the higher price per unit. It's a 1-2 punch, demand and price, flattening household budgets. The cold loaded the gun, but 2025's rate hikes pulled the trigger. The result? Catastrophically higher bills for millions. And the pain is just beginning. Remember when eggs were so expensive they became a meme? For months, social media was flooded with jokes about eggs being a luxury item, and people were genuinely shocked at how something so basic could suddenly feel out of reach. It was a symbol of how quickly the cost of living could change, and how even the most ordinary things could become a source of stress. Now, electricity is the new eggs, the thing we all need, but suddenly feels like a splurge every time the bill arrives. It's not just a number on a page, it's a new source of anxiety for millions of households. Charles Hua from Power Lines says it best: electricity is the new eggs. It's the latest essential that's quietly become a budget buster, and it's hitting everyone, everywhere. Since 2021, electricity prices have jumped nearly 40% for a service you can't live without. That's not just a blip, it's a seismic shift in what it costs to keep the lights on and the heat running. And it's not just electricity. Piped natural gas? Up 11% in 2025 alone. Every part of your utility bill is creeping higher, and there's no sign of relief. These aren't small changes. Utility bills are now a top driver of inflation. For many families, it's the difference between making ends meet and falling behind. You can skip eating out or cancel Netflix, but you can't skip heat when it's 10 below. When winter hits, there's no substitute for warmth, and no way to cut back without real consequences. These hikes prey on a basic need: a warm, safe home. It's not about luxury, it's about survival and dignity, especially for the most vulnerable. When energy costs skyrocket, families are forced to cut elsewhere. Groceries, school supplies, even medical care, everything is on the table when the power bill comes first. The eggs comparison is perfect, except you can live without eggs but not heat in a deep freeze. Electricity isn't just another expense, it's the backbone of modern life. This is a hidden tax on existence, and the bill comes due every month. No matter what, you have to pay it, or risk losing the comfort and safety of your home. The surging price of energy isn't just a statistic, it's making life harder for millions. It's a daily struggle, a constant worry, and a challenge that's only getting tougher. And there's no easy way out. For now, families are left to juggle, sacrifice, and hope for relief, because when it comes to energy, there's no substitute for what we need to survive. This winter crisis is national, but the pain isn't equal. The Midwest and Northeast are used to cold, but not bills this high. The real shock? The South. 33 million residents hit by rate hikes. Storm recovery is a big reason. States like Florida are paying for hurricane damage through their utility bills. Florida Power & Light's $9 billion rate hike in 2025 hit millions hard. Now, people are paying for both higher demand and storm recovery. Infrastructure may be stronger, but families' finances are stretched to the limit. Whether you're in Ohio, Massachusetts, or Florida, the story is the same: a perfect storm of unaffordability. The geography changes, but the anxiety of opening that bill is universal. Across the country, millions are united in shivering misery. Let's talk about energy poverty, a term you'll hear more often. The Department of Energy says you're in energy poverty if you spend over 6% of your income on energy. 1 in 5 U.S. households now meets this definition, 28 million families. For them, a cold snap isn't just inconvenient, it's a financial catastrophe. Energy poverty forces impossible choices: keep the house cold, skip meals, or fall behind on rent. The stress is immense, hitting low-income families, seniors, and communities of color hardest. 3 out of 4 Americans now worry about rising utility bills. This is no longer just about budgets, it's about public health and dignity. The system meant to provide affordable energy is failing millions. If you feel squeezed, you're not alone. Experts are sounding the alarm. Jonathan Porter from AccuWeather says over half of Americans face elevated heating costs. Charles Hua calls rising utility bills a defining national issue. First energy, then economic, now political. This isn't just about kilowatt hours, it's about fairness and what we expect from those who control our energy. Electricity is the new eggs, reframes power as a volatile, anxiety-inducing commodity. When a basic good sparks public anger, it becomes a political problem. Politicians can't ignore why people are paying 40% more for electricity. This is a systemic problem, not a personal failing. Porter and Hua's analysis turns individual bill shock into a national narrative. The pain is the result of deliberate decisions and predictable trends. And this crisis is only going to get more intense and more political. Hoping for relief? Don't count on it. AccuWeather forecasts more frigid air sweeping the northeast, meaning more pressure on heating systems and wallets. 30 states could see heating costs stay well above average through mid-February. That's more weeks of furnaces running non-stop, and more massive bills. Prolonged cold keeps digging a deeper financial hole for millions. Our energy system and our budgets aren't built for this kind of stress. The infrastructure is straining, and household finances are snapping. The rate hikes of 2025 are now baked into every bill. The forecast isn't just cold, it's continued financial pain. Here we are, shivering, staring at bills that look like ransom notes, and wondering how we got here. This crisis, born from winter and corporate greed, is now a political issue. The battle over your thermostat is a proxy for inflation, corporate power, and government's role. A 40% rise in electricity prices, $31 billion in rate hikes, and 1 in 5 households in energy poverty. These are the vital signs of a faltering system. When heat becomes a source of distress, it exposes cracks in the social contract. This will be a major election issue. Politicians must choose sides. The anger brewing in households is a potent political force. Electricity is the new eggs is a warning shot. If this winter is a preview, the crisis is just beginning. The fight over your heating bill is now about building a system that doesn't leave millions out in the cold.